And to his right, we got Dave Wiseman.
How you doing, sir? Glad to be here.
Good. And to his right, we got Gideon Ben Israel in the hizzle for shizzle dizzle.
Honored to be with this royal panel, beloved.
Got
Honored.
two kings. I got King Noble and King of the Hebrew Israelites.
Uh-oh, look out now, calm down. There's one king.
King of the Hebrew Israelites. Because I ain't heard y'all. So you got to represent.
Okay, well, I can try to represent.
No, you got to represent.
Yes, sir.
You got to represent. When the black sun is in the hizzle, that's all I hear. That's all I hear.
A king.
Is representatives.
No right.
Okay, so today we got a real touchy subject here today, but we're going to combine two topics into one. We got prison reform and we got immigration reform. And the reason why I picked these two, because there's some similarities and there's also some differences between the two. You know, Barack Obama, he's, I think he got over the little gun ban thing, so now he's on the immigration reform. And so I look into it, and I notice, people getting out of immigration, becoming doctors, dentists, and all kind of great things, getting education, getting all kind of good stuff. So that just kind of brought me to prison reform. I said, well, you're going to have integration reform. They breaking the law, right? Crossing the border. So what about this prison reform thing? What's now, Dave, you look like you're ready already. I mean, you got people, like I said, as I think Rush Limbaugh say, entitlements. People getting, education, and I think once upon a time, you're from California like I am, I remember once upon a time you had prisoners getting education, degrees and all that, and they just took it out. What happened, Dave?
Well, when the prisoners start getting smart and educated to this system and started prospering in this system,
right,
it became a problem. So when you're kept away from certain types of education, you're kept nimble and dumb, these certain things is kept away from you, you don't prosper. And if you don't prosper, your nation doesn't prosper.
Right. That's interesting. So why did it become a problem? Because it is called Department of Corrections.
That depends on who's correcting.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So there's a group that calls themselves as to come in to reform,
right,
to make over, to create a new form, and to correct. Are they correcting in the ways of the people or for themselves? Because you can correct someone, but you can reform them to come your way, opposed to coming to a way that will help the people.
Interesting. King Noble, talked about prison reform and, immigration. You see a big fluctuation of immigrants coming over here and setting up institutions, TV stations, radio stations, grocery stores, getting driver's licenses, so forth and so on. What's your take on how your comparison to the prison reform as compared to immigration reform? Barack Obama, he's basically going out on a limb, with this immigration reform.
It's not fair, man. It's just not fair that so many dollars are being directed towards immigration and giving them benefits that can't be directed towards the citizens that are already over here that need the benefits of this nation. I think more of the immigration dollars should be more spent in reforming people, reducing the recidivism rate and adding more benefits to those people who are getting out of these institutions, making it easier for them to readjust themselves back into society.
Right. So then, you talked about the recidivism rate, there's a whole system where a prisoner gets out, either being on probation or parole, and, now my thing is, what type of, how would you solve that problem as far as getting a prisoner back into society? What would you, because it seems like the immigrants, they have all type of, based on these new policies that Barack Obama's passing, they will have access to education, access to driver's license, access to basically everything that a citizen has. Now, mind you, when they cross the border, that's breaking the law. So, you know, first thing that they say, well, these criminals, they broke the law. So that's when the first thing they want to throw up about the prisoners, but the immigrants are doing the same thing. So how do we solve that? I mean,
I think that they need to put more emphasis on self-employment programs, even entrepreneurship as it relates to people that are getting out of these facilities.
Okay.
Because a lot of the crimes that are related to black people is they really want to be independent. They don't want to just be under the man. They don't want to be under the system. So it's an attitude of wanting to be independent. They're associating criminology, criminal activity, with being independent and self-sufficient. So if more things were set up for them to really acclimate themselves properly to self-sufficiency, to becoming successful entrepreneurs, then I think they wouldn't be find it so seductive, the criminal world, you know, the criminal activity, because they just want to do their own thing. They don't want to be under the man. So.
Okay. Now, Gideon, that sounds like it was right up your alley. You know, King Noble talked about, you know, people wanting to be independent.
Exactly.
You know, people, I know, you know, many times, you know, Dave and yourself and I, we've always talked about, you know, economical independence. And so, but then, you know, and I ain't got nothing against immigrants, you know. I mean, because they're forced out of their country based on economics. But what type of economical solutions would you apply towards, you know, the inmates as far as, you know, getting back into society? And I mean, how do we?
Well, it's very easy for me it's when we remember when Hurricane Katrina hit, our people were called refugees.
Refugees, that's right.
Individuals who were born in this country. When we talk about immigration reform as it pertains to prison reform, you have to understand white supremacy.
Okay.
In white supremacy and capitalism, everything has to be cataloged, profiled, and numbered. In order for them to do that with the vast majority of the influx of people that are coming into this country beyond their control, the thing that they're trying to do is bring them into the system of white supremacy.
Right.
The only way they can bring them into the system of white supremacy is like when you have a cattle ranch and you have cattle, what did they have to do? Brand them.
That's right.
So you can identify what? Your cattle. So white folks have realized that this independence that my beloved brother, this king that sat on this panel just mentioned about, is what most people want. They want entrepreneurial independence, the ability to be self-sustaining, and they can carry that out in their own community.
Okay.
Immigration reform is designed to take the way that current influx of individuals who don't have documentation on. Okay. So they're getting money that they can't tax. They're doing things that the government don't know about. That makes Whitey nervous when he don't know what you're doing.
Okay.
So they're bringing this whole thing of women in the military, immigration reform, and prison reform are all designed to classify, catalog, and identify every piece of property that this government claims that it owns.
Now, wait a minute. I ain't going to let you off the hook.
Come on then.
Because I know you part of that prison ministry.
Yes, sir. They would not, let me tell you about that. They would not let me in the federal prison.
But they need to not let none of y'all in the prisons.
Well,
That's
they
the
say,
way, you know
we
what I'm
don't
saying?
have no Hebrews up in here. I'm saying, maybe that's the reason why you should let me in here, because you don't have any Hebrews up in this BI.
Yeah, what they need to do, and this is my take, this is my solution. All those people that's wasting time bringing Jesus, Muhammad, and all that other stuff up in there, bring some job trainees up in there. You see what I'm saying?
Well, see, let me say this now.
Okay.
The prisoners are being trained in the prison, but they're being used as slave labor.
Of course.
They have contracts that are already no-bid contracts that are given to white supremacy organizations that the prisoners have to work out, and Whitey is getting paid for it. So what we see is the prison industrial complex is the new yet old slave system for cataloging, identifying, and classifying their slaves.
Oh, well, Dave, you know, we talked about that on the phone. The new slave labor, people investing, the Republicans, George Bush. I mean, you know, it ain't no
Michael
secret.
Jordan?
Yes. Michael Jordan too? Oh,
Yes, it's so many. Once you're in that select few, you got some dollars in your pocket and dollars in your account, then you're open to go to certain avenues that most folks are not going to.
Right.
So a person like my brother just got through saying a Michael Jordan or someone in another stature or Republicans or whoever it may be, it's a big return.
Right.
It's
big return.
always been a big return. No one has worked harder than anyone in America outside of the slave, because a slave works for free.
That's right.
He works for free, and during that time, a slave may be on a plantation for 30 years, and he's working to get his freedom.
Right.
So the master may pay him certain stipends. He'll sit there and save it to buy his freedom. But in actuality, it was still free from the get-go, because you're just giving your money right back to the master to give you freedom. So, I mean, come on.
Man. King Noble, we talked about before how, brothers and sisters, they tend to associate us with, having locks and smoking weed. The highest recidivist rate of returned prisoners is black males with dirty urine. But we'll have people tell us, weed, no, it ain't addicted, it ain't a drug, it's herb, it's from the earth, but yet you got this high rate of return. What's going on?
Well, if they want to make you they slave, they got to find the easiest way. They have to criminalize your culture.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
Teach, bro.
that's the quickest way to get you. We think that we can be, upright citizens and follow all the laws, but if they want to make you their slave, they have to invent laws that is going to turn what you have an inclination or a tendency to do to a crime. That way they can get you in there, and they know you will never be reformed or you will never be corrected, because that's your real culture. That's what you move to do that, to this natural greenery, getting to the earth. It comes natural to you. So let's criminalize that. So we have any excuse to kick in your door and lock you up and put you back into the slave camp, the concentration camp.
But hold on.
Teach,
King
brother.
Noble, but I mean,
Teach.
there's certain laws in place, and I'm not here to agree or disagree with the whole marijuana thing, but I mean,
We know you getting the weed.
jeopardize your freedom for it, though. I mean, what's the logic in
I
that?
think we do, knowing that we are in captivity and that we are in the land of our enemy, and right now it's an evolutionary war, whether we accept it or not, people should be wise in the decisions they make. They may have to make some cultural sacrifices and make some changes that are relative to their safety and their security while we in the land of this beast, until at least till we get them out of power, at least till we overthrow them. Wise strategical decisions need to be made. So you might have to put your blunt down. You might have to put your weed down.
Well,
not to be judgmental and say it's wrong, but just to say that it's not a wise decision right now.
Well, I'm
You
saying
want to
is,
give your enemy less weapons against you as possible.
right. All I'm saying is put it down if it causes you your freedom. That's
Right.
all I'm saying.
Totally in agreement.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
I'm not here to debate the weed, it's natural, this, that, it's of earth, oh, God sent it from heaven. I'm not here, I'm saying
But it's
that
not worth sitting behind bars.
98% of black males are returned to prison because of marijuana. That is a fact.
Yes.
That is a fact. So my question is Gideon, is weed the new crack?
Oh my goodness, you hit on me just like that, because I love that devil weed. I've had my days.
98%
Let me
though,
say that.
98% though.
Well, my brother explained it very clearly. What they've done, not only are they criminalizing behavior that they know is reflective of our natural root-like nature.
Wait a minute. That ain't natural.
It grows right out of the earth. It's
So
a
does
seed.
cocaine.
And
So
it's
does
been
opium?
used, and it's been used for thousands of years in a very non-damaging way
I'm
in
just
its
saying,
natural state.
98%. We talk about the white man having this plan. If you just
Yes.
like, he just came up with a strategy, just put it down.
Well, now
That's
again,
98%.
Right.
Come
but
on,
if
man.
it's natural to us,
Oh,
and
jeez.
now this is the other thing. I'm gonna see how you're gonna handle this.
Okay.
What they've also criminalized is the poor. Now, just because you're poor, if you're living under the street, under a bridge, or you're on the street and you don't have any money, guess where you're going? Either out of town or to jail. So just to be poor, they're putting you in jail. See, you looked at the number of brothers. 98% of the brothers that are in jail in Fulton County are in there because of marijuana.
Right.
But the other number is the number of poor
Homeless, I agree.
who are not even being talked about. They are that hidden mass of people that the Europeans have used, and they threatened to put them out when they were building the aquarium. They didn't threaten, they put them out when they built the aquarium, which is why I never go there. and they're being targeted now. So just like my beloved brother said, they're targeting us. They watched us all these years, almost 400 years.
Okay.
They know what our inclinations are, and everything that we do naturally, they've made it illegal. I'll tell you another thing. When we were doing lottery, when we were running the number in our neighborhood, we were flipping the money, and it was turning over, making millionaires. What did they do? Made it illegal, and then took it over.
Dave, you got to come in here. You got to come in here, Dave.
You know, when my brother spoke about the criminalization, you have to think about it also, too, as so many of that 98% that goes to jail, out of that 98%, does it ever, and we're talking about prison reform.
Okay, right.
Here's the new reform. You check these men out on a constant basis for diseases before they go into prison.
Right.
But you never check them when they come out.
There you go. Right, right.
And so when they come out with these diseases, they go back to their woman, to their nation, back to their sense of home. You know, sometimes these men won't tell that they've been raped in jail or what have you.
Exactly.
They pass on this on to their women. So this is another thing of criminalization, but this is actually destroying the nation.
That's right.
So this is another way of their reform. Because if it was going to be reformed the right way, reform the right, R-E means do it over.
Exactly.
Right, right.
You know, so what are you doing over, and what form are you doing over, and who's in control of that reform, that new reform? It's definitely not us.
Exactly.
It's definitely not us. And in order to reform, I think me and you were having a conversation about that, is you have to play the rules of the game.
Okay.
Whatever rules that society has, you come up on side of society, and if society says this is 3 strikes, well, you go through and find out what is the thing that causes these 3 strikes,
Right.
and do the reverse.
Okay.
You always have to play a chess game, because the thing about with us, we talk, we do not plan. The average person, 98% of the average brothers and sisters that's walking up and down the street do not have a plan.
Right.
Because
right.
they are oppressed. And so when you're oppressed so much, you can't plan. You can't plan, but if you can just get the foot up off the neck just for a moment to get into planning, like other nationalities, like the Asians and like the Hispanics, what they do is they take pretty much and look at the rules that's laid out, and they say, well, you know, if I can't do this, then I'll do this. And they strategically put this together, and they say, you know what, this will keep you away from going to jail, getting caught up. We'll put some money aside for bail money, because I've been in some of these homes where I've seen Hispanics put their money together and say, you know what, this is going to be some bail money just in case, because we already know how that system outside is going to do. The Asians will say, this is the money that we're going to do is to take over that home, that corner store, and move in.
That's right.
When it comes to us, it's not that type of planning, because of what the divide and conquer what he has put in has separated us to our corners. So we're in the north, east, south, and the west. So we're the old news and the new news. You see what I'm saying?
Wow, wow.
Teach, brothers.
770-559-2999. Y'all call in and get some of this. King Noble, you know, Dave talked about, you know, how, you know, the immigrants, basically how they stick together. They don't demonize their people that might get caught up in a certain situation, but you let us do one little thing. Oh, lock them up, throw away the key. So you got our own people working against us, you know, getting the women to get on the 911, get the children to get the 911, and it's just, I mean, it's hard. What would you say is hard to come up with a solution when you have such a pushback? Because, I mean,
I think it's the major challenges that you undergo in life that will bring the best out of you. So that it's hard is not a question for me.
Okay.
How we're going to address it really becomes a question. What's the error in thought? I think it's strategical. I think that the black man is looked at as the most dangerous element in the United States,
Right.
as far as this government is concerned. And he's not just dangerous to the institution of white supremacy. He's also dangerous to everything that is dependent and connected to that institution of white supremacy. And the black woman is connected to that institution of white supremacy. And the so-called Negro males, the coons, that are all totally tied up into the system.
Right.
That unemployed black man, or that black man that's not so much in the system, he's a threat to that as well. So you have to, when you're scared of somebody, you fear somebody, then you got to call the police. Right. You got to take them down, because they're a potential threat in the back of your mind.
Well, wait a minute here, Clay. No, it ain't the black man's greater threat than us being backwards too, because, we don't like the government.
That's right.
We got our arms and got, they fear us too. I don't know why, but, we watch just like them, but they won't,
The redneck.
I mean, what they call us, but what he mean, but aren't
Right.
they too?
They feared by the government, but are they feared by their own family members and relatives? And so while they got one dynamic of opposition, we have a multi-dynamic of opposition.
Oh, wow. Dang, that's so, Gideon, you want to kick up here?
Noble. I mean, these brothers, the wise man and a noble man. I'm just the brother. Let me just say this. If we can go to this picture that we have over here. Because when we talk about prison reform, you actually have to, just like police reform and other types of reform, we're going to get ready to go to this picture over here. Okay. You have to change the minds and hearts of the people that are the overseers of the particular system in which you're trying to reform.
Right, right.
When you look at these pictures right here, and this is from the Minister Farrakhan's group of the Muslims, they, of course, have been involved in prison activities for many years on many different levels.
Right.
What the audience will be seeing in just a minute is a shot of prison brutality.
Right. So you mean, wait a minute, we got brutality on the streets and now in the prisons too?
We got brutality on the streets where the police are beating our sons, mercilessly killing them, locking them away, throwing away the key, killing them on camera with tasers and other weapons, and still not going to jail. And in the prisons, it's even worse.
So you mean it's lights, camera, action, kill?
That's it.
Lights, camera, action, kill. Oh, okay.
That's what, see, it's changing, and as long as you can keep our people into thinking that we are a commodity, we're on the wrong side of the street.
Right.
Or they shouldn't have been cursing, which is why the wife called. But like the man who was a Vietnam vet, he accidentally pushed his medic alert button.
Oh, yeah.
And when Mr. Chamberlain, when the police came, not the medic people there, at the end of that story was his life.
That's
and
right.
He hadn't done anything.
Yeah, I remember that. I witnessed that whole fiasco on tape.
Absolutely.
From beginning to ending, yeah.
Wow. So when we see this kind of abuse, that's reflective of slavery, which has never ended. That was the lie Al and all the rest of the 1% that my brother was talking about, the coon Negroes who love their master drink his bath water, want to believe that we are the scourge of the earth, that we, and sometimes I'm saying all of us are good, because we're not. So we've got some bad folks out there.
What's the solution, Gideon? What's the solution?
The solution is knowledge of self. The solution
that doesn't tell me nothing.
Okay, that doesn't tell you. All right, it's inclusion of Hebrew African studies in the schools.
Man, you mean religion, man?
No. Hebrew African culture. No. It's a difference between the culture of a people and the God that they deify. Culture defines food, language, land, geographical location. All of these things are tied into your blood lineage. So once our people began to connect the dots, not just because we look the same and have woolly hair, but know that we have a royal bloodline like Brother Noble and Brother Wise here, we can love and hear each other's wisdom and work together as a family.
Yeah, but how do we maneuver that in the system that we...
You can't. Whitey is not going to let you infuse African Hebrew studies, because what it does is tell our children the truth about what they have done to us. So rather than us hating each other, guess what? That hate going to have to go somewhere else, and that means the dreaded retribution.
Dave, what's the solution here? I mean, Obama came up with, there's 5 things I can think of off the top that immigrants can get. They got education, they got food, they got housing, they got medical benefits, they got voting benefits.
Right.
I mean, these are just 5 basics that they done came up solutions with,
We've been here 500 years almost.
I think I need to be more specific, because I get in the question, but what type of political solution do we need to come up with here?
The political solution, I feel, is you have to me and you were sitting down in the room and we're thinking about certain types of strategies to get ourselves up out, we have to look at the rules and the oppositions against our own thinking.
Right.
Create up out the box. Think up out the box while they think that you're in the box. Stand up out of the box and then create along that solution in a microeconomic type of way, micro-political way. Because once you start to expand out, they're already out to catch you. When you stay within a small microorganism, like a little small little dot, and you stay with it, it can be powerful. It can be so powerful than a big macro.
That's right.
It's because it's a togetherness and it's a glue that sticks together. Once you come without and you start to speak your agenda, you start to take your agenda to here to other places, you're shattered. There was a Dr. Claude Anderson spoke.
Okay.
Dr. Claude Anderson spoke. Anytime that African Americans get together, if they get anywhere over 35%, destroy them.
Yes.
Any agenda, destroy them. Because we have to bring in the divide and conquer to keep them separate. Anytime they plan something, come in and destroy them.
Well, that sounds like religion.
Here's another thing. Well, you got to understand.
That sounds like the God concept.
You got to understand. Well, who's the
That sounds like some people's culture.
who controls it?
Exactly.
Right.
What's coming into the ears? Who's controlling what? What's coming in the ears? You got to look at it. You got to look at every little thing like that. Because if you sit and tell me something and it's like me and you have a conversation, it's like, Dave, I heard such and such. Well, Black Son, where did you get that from? Well, I heard it from that form of media. Where does it come from?
Exactly.
Okay. So I'm going to ask King Noble, Dave Wiseman, Gideon this question. Who okayed the pastors and preachers, the imams? Who authorized them to go into the jails and talk to the prisoners?
Who are you asking?
I mean, anybody. Y'all can.
Well, I can speak.
And can we shift those dudes out and bring some maybe people training to, I don't know, bring some trade in, maybe some degrees in, maybe become a, I don't know, let's see, doctor or
Chaplain
lawyer.
Shabri, who is the chaplain over at the federal penitentiary over here, right downtown Atlanta, almost about 5 minutes from downtown Atlanta, has been there for many years.
Okay.
They have specific people, I'll just use that term, that they keep in specific positions because they know the classification, the profile, and the mindset of the people that they want in the prison operating facility.
How did it start, though?
It started through the people that we call, what are they, the vigilantes,
Because it sounds like the same system that King Noble and Dave talked about, just keeping the status quo. So they bringing these people
That's
in
what I'm
to
saying. You
bring
have to
their
remember
markers.
how the fraternal order of the police began. It's a fraternal order. The National Football League, a league of white men, the Superior Court judges, they are part of a circuit that runs, and they are a team. They found in Pennsylvania where judges were sending our children to jail, into juvenile court, and the judges were getting kickbacks.
Oh, yeah,
See,
absolutely,
all
right.
of this stuff has been under the table. When you look at Penn State with Sandusky and Jerry Paterno and how they were filtering our children and perverting them through the first day or first line, whatever his organization was.
Right.
So throughout white supremacy, what they've been able to do is perfect the prison slave-making process and put it right in front of our face and have us sponsor it and sign off on it in the enslavement of our children.
Okay. King Noble, the point that I'm making is that I don't want bishop, imam coming in teaching me about God, Jesus, Holy. I want people to come in and maybe teach me to steal so I can have a job when I get out. Is that so difficult?
This is the challenge you're up against. It's kind of hard to talk about prison reform without overlooking that it's a capitalistic institution.
Thank you.
So it's about making money at the beginning of the day. So while we authentically want to see the condition of our people change, we want to see a correction, their mentality, compassion, their love for their own. We want to see this happen, but we're going up against an institution that's running completely like a slave auction. It's basically they're just selling people. So
Exactly.
it's no way we can pretend like we're really that they really want to hear what we got to say about, because it's not about reform or correction at all. It's totally about wholesaling people. It's totally about slavery and just industry, and you know, it's a money-making industry.
Yeah, but why not take the prisoner? Go ahead, Dave.
Just like the brother just got to speaking about wholesaling. You think about, since we're in this thing of Black History Month of February, you think about in Birmingham when they had the bus strike. The only way, marching, he don't give a damn about. You can do that all day long. Picket, whatever, your voice, he doesn't care. He doesn't care unless you come up against his certain truths. Now, if you're speaking about something that what you want, that's a different thing. You come up to him and put him into the light, that's a different thing. Now, he comes to get you and he comes to attack you, kill you, and take you out. Here's the thing. When the brothers and sisters back at that time in Birmingham, Alabama, and they had a strike, named stroke for the buses, I think it was for a year.
Yeah.
The boycott for a year.
Broke their back.
They broke their back. What do? Well, they submit at that time because it's all about that money.
That's it.
At the end of the day, it's all about the money. But here's one of the things that we left up on the table during that time. When we broke the backs of the Birmingham Bus Company, we had the money at that time to come in and buy the bus company, but we were so much on our rights because the oppression will keep you from a plan.
Right,
he
right.
only understands
Right.
economics.
That's
He
it.
only understands money. He don't get fooled by the deceiver. He does not understand anything about anybody's rights across this world unless it has to do with money.
So why not take the prisoners, have programs that develop them, trade to get back into the market. When they get back into the market, they can pay taxes, they can boost the economy.
Here's the thing
now
with that.
okay.
Here's the thing with that. You're seeing trade. This is a new America now.
Yes,
Okay.
America doesn't give a damn about trade no more because they're moving to a new economy. They're moving to new things. They're cutting down, they're outsourcing everything. Why would I pay you $25 an hour when I can send it to the Philippines for $2.50 an hour?
Yeah, but the people in Philippines and over in Hong Kong and India, they rising up. They saying enough of this
Rise
they-
and
cheap
have
labor.
risen, two different
Yeah,
things.
that's exactly. They can rise up, but my thing is, I'm still making money up off of whatever. Because if I'm not paying you $25 an hour, I'm not taking care of your health care, which your president vastly went out there and did Obamacare. If I'm not taking care of your health care, and if I'm not taking care of your Social Security and all the little things that you pay that you take up out your check, well then, if it's a numbers game, I defeated you. Because I've moved from a system of what you used to do, and I switched the game up. And in order for you to be a benefit of me, I need you in my jail.
That's it.
You know?
This is a radical solution. Fundamentally, I believe that the correctional facilities and institution needs to be totally abolished and taken out completely. But I
Okay.
know a lot of people are not going to agree with me on that. So to our economists, let me give a solution out there for our economists.
Okay.
People who endorse the system, whether for economic reasons or whatever, is that we are going to have to start investing in prisons ourselves so that we can build our own prison institutions and really set up what the values are and set up how they're going to run and make them more Black empowered centered prison institutions where we set up the curriculums, we set up how they go, and then we can, because we got to take into fact that's a multi-level solution because a lot of Black people love going to jail.
Exactly.
Them jail is just a vacation. They do crime, it means nothing to them. So what if we could get them into a Black empowered prison institution where we make them sit down and watch Malcolm X and Dr. Khalid Muhammad and King Noble lectures all day. We set it up like we want to set it up. Then we will introduce people back into society that can actually create and the type of social change that we actually want to see in the world. We can actually build an army that way.
That's real talk.
Well, you know what? Isn't intelligence beautiful? I mean, these
That's
young
why we
brothers,
come
I
here
am
for
just sitting over
solutions.
here beaming because of their brilliance. It's one word that will change everything.
Okay.
And you know it because you
man,
are
go- here
an
we go.
evolutionary revolutionary. See
Okay.
what? He had already profiled me. Here we go. He thought you didn't know what I was going to say. The one word is what? Revolution.
Well, see, Gideon, the only reason why I did that because I don't think it's a monolithic solution. It's multiple solutions that have to be solved here.
But
you know what
see,
I'm saying? Because like he said, King Noble said, you got people that's comfortable. You got people that love their chemical dependency and will defend it to their grave.
They love America.
Yeah, I love America too, but I mean, right now we're just looking at the problem with the overflux of prisons. You know what I'm saying? So they might say, because I remember hearing some people say they were in prison and the people that were homeless were being saved from the streets. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand that type of mindset, but my thing is that apparently you have some geniuses that are immigrants. Some
Certainly.
Geniuses that are becoming doctors.
Certainly.
Some geniuses that are becoming dentists.
Yes.
You know, and you got a underground ring in Gwinnett where they fixing people's teeth. Under where they just
because
Mexicans,
the dentists are ripping people off. But let me just say this.
Right, but
Go
the point, okay, and hold that thought. All I'm saying though is why we can't have that same type of mindset for the geniuses that are in prison.
Because
like
my
Malcolm X.
brother outlined what we should do. We should be able to, but see, us having control over our own prisons would give us the ultimate control over the destiny and future of our people.
That's right.
And that's what white supremacy does not want and will not tolerate. You and I sat right here, and the Wiseman as well, and talked about what happened in Egypt. What happened in Egypt? Revolution.
That's right.
See, our children are the future. And these children out here, they got them killing each other. Like in Chicago, where my beloved brother is from, 46 in one day. Once that rage and that anger and that discontentment is reversed and turned back on the system that's inflicting all of this barbaric debauchery on us, then they know that will change everything.
Yeah, but Egypt is still going through revolution. You know what I'm saying? That their revolution is unsettling over there in the Middle East. You know what I'm saying? Because they got Islam, whatever you want to call it, that they trying to implement in the government, and that'll never work. Never work. You know what I'm saying? They don't even recognize that they have people that are secular over there. Secular meaning atheists. You know what I'm saying? I know that's a shock in itself, Arab atheists, but yeah, there's out there. You know what I'm saying?
Would you like to experience strife through an unsettled revolution or totally being up under another race of people? Because we experience strife over here, killing ourselves, and we're dying, more than people are dying in wars. So we got strife going, but at the end of the day, our strife is slavery. Yes. At the end of the day, their strife is at the cusp of possible potential political change.
Yeah. Well, I'm 100% for revolution, but my thing is post-revolution. Because let's just say we overthrow the white people. Now you got all these religious zealots. Now I got to take out. I got to take out the Hebrews. I got to take out the Muslims. I got to take out the Christians. You know what I'm saying?
But that's a
so I'm going to be like black atheist power. You know what I'm saying?
But see, we were able to talk now.
No, we talking now.
After we overthrow their government, we won't be able to talk.
You cool, but anytime you're going to implement Yah into any constitution, I'm about to goddamn gun. We're about to take y'all out.
Well, you haven't done that in the last 5 years, and we've been talking about Yah on the set.
I'm just saying, but we don't live in a theocratic society. As bad as society might seem.
But isn't that negativity the very linchpin of white supremacy within us? That we don't trust each other enough and have enough faith in each other that we can carry out a armed aggression against an oppressor that's destroying and killing us.
Okay, well, Dave, let me just say this real quick. I've had conversations with some of our people.
Yes, sir.
And they religious as all can be out. I'm just saying, a lot of our people,
right,
a high percentage of, if you implement a government, it would be a theocratic government, and that would cause a problem. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, at the end of the day, we have to come up with a post-revolutionary solution if this was to take place. Like I told King, I see it taking place, but I see...
He's been asking us, you give us your atheist perspective of a post-revolutionary America.
Mine would be similar. It would actually implement real democracy. See, the society we live in, they just doing the string with the carrot. They just smoke and mirrors. But if you talk about
on a capitalistic economy,
no, under socialism.
Okay,
under a social. You know what I'm saying? Now we're talking about administration and we're talking about economical systems. Economical system, I would go with a socialist system.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Down with all the privatizations. You know what I'm saying? If this is a corporation, we determine the wages.
Exactly.
And anybody come in, they get a fair share. You know what I'm saying?
Star Chamber,
we the
1%?
people. We the people.
Okay.
We the people. That's what I would establish. Now, as far as administration, I can't have no God, Yah, Allah, because I can't hear them. But I can hear you, King Noble. I can hear you, Dave. I can hear you, Gideon. Exactly. That's why I said you are the representative, because I don't hear these voices.
I'm with you there.
I don't hear these voices. I don't pray 5 times a day. I don't do that. Right. I deal with people on earth realm.
I got you.
Because people on earth realm can relate to my problems. True. God and Jesus ain't never came down to my table and offered me no money to do anything for me. You know what I'm saying?
Sitting here right here. Right
so
now.
No, I didn't. Would the socialists abolish all type of religion, period, or would it be like it's a place for people with religion and socialism?
Exactly. That's a good question. It would be a place for it. I mean, as long as I would keep church and state separate. Because
that's what this white man's been telling us.
But okay,
like
you show me a better system. You show me a better system, because most people, when they talk about other governments, there's some theocracy in there.
No doubt.
That's all I'm saying. So what I'm saying is I can't have goddamn Jesus up in my constitution like that. You know what I mean? It's we the people. We the people.
So let me ask you, would that truly be socialism though? Because I think socially, people would have to, true socialism would involve the entire society to determine.
I agree.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that if you look at, let's look at a socialist society like Cuba, or let's look at a social economy like
free
Hong
education,
Kong,
free medical care,
or Russia. They don't implement God in their laws, meaning they have common universal laws, meaning that I'm not supposed to kill the next person. That's a universal law. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Now, I think it was the Universal Declaration of Human Rights that state, when the nations came together, the secular nations, along with the religious ones, they said that a person, I think it's Article 11, has the right to say, you know what, I don't believe in God. Now, you go to Saudi Arabia and say that. You see what I'm saying? You go to Syria, most of these Middle Eastern countries and do that. You know what I'm saying? You go to some of these black people and say that.
I think it's one thing to look at, though. The real issue, I think, is mobocracy.
Yes.
Because it's kind of like
yes.
a whole group of people can come together and make these laws. And I think that's the problem we having with Christianity, because then it even boils down to interpretation, where they say we should kill you over this.
Right.
But this whole other group is saying, or this smaller minority group is saying, no, we shouldn't kill you over that. So I don't think you can escape the blind drunkenness of mobocracy through socialism, which I think is your major problem with religion. Because you're not speaking for the different consciousness dynamics of religion. It's different. It's so many different groups and denominations. Right. The issue is the one in power, who is making up all the rules for everyone else. Okay. In a more socialistic, truly socialistic setup, I think it would just be more, people would have to be more open-minded.
Well, now, okay.
And do a little bit more research.
Now, wait a minute. You say socialist, now we're talking about administration or economical system? Because you can still have a socialist economical system that everybody takes a part in. But it's the administration that I'm having issues with.
Right. When you talk about laws and rules,
okay,
groups of people can be blind. We know this. So groups of people can make up just as foolish laws as you may consider people who are more religiously orientated. Right. So the danger then becomes mobocracy. That's why when people talk about socialism, they are afraid of a dictatorship, which is what you sound like, a dictator when you say, I don't want no Christians, I don't want this.
No,
but
no,
then
no,
you're
no,
not
no,
speaking
no, no,
for a Christian.
Hold on. You got that. No, what I'm saying is I don't want
you don't want
things like, okay, well, yeah, I don't want it because
what does the social want, though?
Right,
and if it's social of Christians, Muslims, Hebrews, then it has to be a society that represents that democracy, not your individual.
Okay, well, I'm glad you said that. Let's go over in Egypt. Let's go to Muhammad Morsi, who has the Muslim Brotherhood. But you have a large population, and actually there's more, just like the rest of the world, you have more women population. But they just totally push that aside because Sharia law says that the women are second-class citizens, that they have no say-so. So now, what about a situation like that? And then you have the secularists over here, you have the Coptic Christians. So that, I don't see democracy playing a part because you have Sharia law because God said, and there's no checks and balances with what God or Allah says. So what I'm saying is that when you come to the table, so my life doesn't feel threatened, I have to have checks and balances with people that I can see before me.
But I guess what I'm saying is that you won't escape mobocracy. Right. Because that's what's going on. It's the group of people in power who controls the interpretation of religions and that enforce these laws on people. And you may have that in America. I see here feminism can get out of hand.
Yes.
You know, we see feminism getting out of hand
okay.
because that's that's who's in power. That's who's in a position of power. So to me, it's about, you know, separating the mob and keeping more of a free-thinking society that does not fall under the mobocracy, the blind mob, drunk mob who just make up these rules and these laws and enforce them. Okay. And they don't represent the masses of people. They just represent those who have some power.
That are in their mob.
Exactly.
Right.
Hey, what's your take on that? You know,
I totally agree with what the brother is thinking, and I'm sitting here thinking that, you know, here in the United States, when we have this different type of mobocracy, you will hear something, a defining thing that all people, not all people, let me take that back, you will hear people that's in Congress or the Senate or even the President of the United States. They will say something that is very underlining that tricks the masses of people, and that is the American people deserve to know better. The American people, so it's whatever you're thinking, the people who are in control underlines you and say, I'm in the best interest of the American people. So this is one person with all these many issues behind their back, so he is on media or she is on media, and now the emotions of the people that's behind you is worn on the shoulders, but at the end of the day, the person, the mob that's in control, they know the tactics that will work across the board.
okay.
And we see that
everywhere.
Yeah, they're doing that everywhere.
Right. And this is a strategy that America likes to use. They'll go in, and that's why I said we as a people, and I'm all for, but we got to come up with a better system than the white man, because the white man goes into a country and says, you know what?
Puts them in debt.
Hold on. Most countries that they overtake with their democracy, they'll show the concept of a centralized government, meaning one person in power. And they were like, well, you know, in America, we have a decentralized government. You know what I'm saying? So it looks better on paper. Then we have a voting system and all of these people, you know what I'm saying? That's why every country, when they're overthrown, they have coup d'etats, what are the rebels screaming? We want democracy. So all I'm saying to Gideon, to Dave, and to King Noble is that if y'all can show me a better system, because the white man has the upper hand when it comes to world systems. And, you know, and me and King Noble, we've been on YouTube. I've hear these black power people talk, oh, let's go to Kemet. I mean, are you serious? You know what I'm saying? Any type of theocracy is done. We done with that. Because we're born into either a democracy or we're born into, I guess, mostly democracy. So my thing is,
the most challenging thing is that we often find that freedom is it could be very anti-systematic. The problem is that we have got too dependent on systems.
Okay, but King Noble, what?
You know,
but we still have to offer a better solution, though.
And no, I think we have to allow a better solution to arise once we destroy the old one. We think that, see, we like invalids, social invalids. Like, we don't think that we can make it without the white man system or about this or that mob being in control. We don't think that we know how to grow our own foods and that we've been living since the beginning of time. The problem is that we think that we need a system. And the problem always becomes the system. But if you leave it to people, they will create something more homogenous, more organic, you know what I'm saying? Where everybody can kind of live more in peace and respect each other and create their own value systems. The worst we have seen societies have been the ones that have been the most systematic, because those are the ones where we put too much power in the hands of a few. Where the many go, you know, are under the brutal arm of those who have the power, the economic power in the army and the military. So I think we need to open this thing up a little bit.
Okay.
You know?
Because I know me and Gideon, we talked about independence, but then y'all talk about throwing away technology, just leave it on y'all, and I just don't see the logic in that. Gideon.
Well, you know, I mean,
I'm with you on like the food, the natural. One thing we can all agree on is we want clean food, clean water. Even the white man will agree with that.
But
I'm
he
saying,
might agree, but he's still sullying it through his system.
Well, those are the ones that are not agreeing, like Monsanto. So what I'm saying is that, we can all live peacefully, but I don't want to go back to the Stone Ages, you know, with putting blood on the door sill and waiting for y'all to, you know, pass over the firstborn. You know, I don't want to go through that.
I've relegated
myself
to...
the Bible kind of old. It's outdated.
It is absolutely old, but old will actually win out over the young. So King Noble and the wise men have really illustrated the various points. And I think we can agree that ultimately what's going to happen is this system is going to have to be overturned. Even the scripture says that. I know you don't like to go to
but you always be talking about spiritual warfare and y'all will fight our battles and
spiritual warfare is what we're doing right now.
Oh,
our words
so we
translate into power. That power comes from the ability to communicate, and then that communication developing a plan, as my beloved brother Wiseman has spoken, and that plan being implemented by those who have the foresight, the courage, and the determination to make it work. That's what America was made of. But it was made on the backs of others, and the very backs that built, they taught those backs to hate themselves and the way they were built and the way they looked. And today that is called, in a quote, in a term that's called Willie Lynch.
Right.
And that Willie Lynch syndrome, the concepts of white propaganda poisoning our minds to think that our nose, our lips, our hair, some way inferior, has infiltrated to the very core of the way our women and a lot of our men teach our children. So they inculcate that depressed, negative image even in the young.
All right, caller. Caller?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Tell him to turn his TV off.
Okay, my question is this.
He's listening through. Tell him to turn his TV off.
Turn your TV off. All right, Dave, until he comes in.
Yes.
Okay, go
There he
ahead.
is.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good.
Okay, first and foremost, we talking about war, and we talking about a situation where we're going to just have to overcome fear, first and foremost, because fear is what's being used to keep us divided as a people. And until we overcome the fear of America, their systematic plan, their laws, and the way that they have put a veil over our eyes based upon falsehood. You know what I'm saying? They'll sell us a dream. We'll believe anything.
Right.
So most importantly, we must get over that fear. And not only that, if we can have the courage to endure everything that we've endured thus far, how could we not have the courage to fight, to bring liberation, peace, justice, and equality to our own people first and foremost?
Okay.
So be blessed, brothers. And I would like to issue you a challenge to go away from where you are now and to enlist within this revolution, because there has never been a revolution without bloodshed, and there's never have been a revolution without a power structure failing. So a power structure has to fail for a new structure to take place. Be blessed.
All right, peace. Next caller.
Worried about this socialism, economics, and democracy and communism and all that other stuff is so far beyond our reach. It's crazy. We need to keep our brothers out of jails, our sisters off the street, off the strip poles, and keep the money within us and just concentrate on economics and technology.
So what's your solution, brother? I mean, we can articulate the problem. Oh, I guess we're going to close it out. We can articulate the problem. That's why you got the Al Sharptons. Yes, you got just the Jacksons. We need to articulate some solutions. Now, that last caller, he articulated the problem very beautifully. Oh, we got sisters on the strip pole. We got brothers in the street. But what's the solution? That's all I'm trying to say. So
The solution is revolution, baby.
I agree.
That's the
I
solution.
agree. But in that solution, you got to have post-solution.
The solution definitely is revolution, and it is correcting a damaged mindset.
Exactly.
The mindset is damaged. How are you going to revolutionize anything when your mindset is not corrected?
Black supremacy is the solution.
Woo! So we have to do a part 2.
Oh, man, I love this battle. I love it.
All right. Next week is Unc, and then the week after we'll be back on here. So peace. We out. See y'all. We out.
Yeah. Woo! Fire, baby.